I've said this before, I always say it. I love going live. I love the immediacy of it. I love that. I don't know. I love that you can just say whatever it is you're thinking. I mean, I'm not that off the cuff. I have some ideas sort of percolating, but it's not so scripted that I don't leave space to like interesting things to come up while I'm chatting. And it's not that I can't edit. I edited videos. I know how to do add the music to it. I know how to do all the fun things and the bells, lights, and whistles to my videos. But I do just love and I just love the immediacy of going live. I had a dating and relationship talk show for many years in the past, and we went live all like it was a weekly show, so we went live every week, and I was accustomed to going live, and it was just really fun. And at the time, we took callers, so there were people who would call in and ask questions, and so in the spirit of that, I'm just kind of just like let's go live. Let's do it. Let's go live. So please feel free to add comments in the add your questions in the comment section or your thoughts or whatever there's anything you want me to talk about or add my insights in. I am a TV and film writer. I am teacher certified. I am life coach certified. I am an author of a self-help emotional book called Becoming Bold: How to break out the bold you. And yeah, I'm just a reader of a lot of I'm a consumer of lots of information. So I like to share my pearls and offer my thoughts on different things in the world and in pop culture. So I'm going to get into it. I think the thought for today is improve yourself. Improve yourself. Find ways to improve yourself. There are so many ways to improve yourself. There is no reason why I mean there's just so many outlets. And let's just start with the things that are free, that are free and minimal costs so you can improve yourself. So let's look at social groups, not on social media, but just like groups. Like for people who have addicts, there's AA. These groups are meaningful because there are people who can help you overcome whatever it is you're going through because they've been there. So don't shy away from like actual physical connections, even though I am on social media, but step out of that box of I don't need anybody. If in order to improve yourself, you need other people. So go to these free group meetings and interact with like a group leader who probably has some type of certificate and who can help you get past your your PTSD, or somebody who you can talk to where you're not paying hundreds of dollars to get therapy. Okay, then this is a little bit for people who are in churches. There are tons of counselors in churches. I mean, don't sleep on the church for free emotional guidance. I mean, the thing is obviously for some people, they're allergic to church, they're allergic to biblical doctrine. So, that might not be your thing. But for people who have a mind for church and don't mind getting biblical doctrine, go to a church and get some type of therapy. But again, improve yourself. We are at a point in the world and a place in life where you cannot be the same person you were yesterday today. I mean, things have gotten so accelerated that you have to know what you know who you are. Some of you might know I'm a church girl. I grew up in church. I volunteered in church, and at one point, I volunteered for a pastor at a pastor's wife at a mega church in Dallas. And this is the Christianese talk. There were these people that were the volunteers who served within the pastoral group were called armor bearers, much like in taken from the stories of King David, where he was like the armor bearer to Saul. And and so I was like a volunteer in training to the pastor's wife. I was an armor bearer. And there was a lot of people at the church. And it was just so chaotic, and people were coming to the front because there were celebrities there, so people were kind of rushing the front. And so I was sort of like a stopgap to the pastor's wife to make sure no one rushed her. And I was just like so overwhelmed. like overwhelmed. I was like, what is happening? And I'm still volunteer pastor's wife in training. And so the number one armor bearer, she yelled at me. She was like, "What are you doing?" She was like, "Open your eyes, look around, like pay attention." And it was just this idea that you need to open your eyes, you need to be discerning, you need to be aware of what is happening in the world around you. And I was like, from that day on, I made a concerted effort to like, oh, I need to just be more aware. Period. I need to be more aware. I need to be less ignorant. I need to be better read. I need to not rely on other people. I need to know facts. I need to know figures. I cannot stay in a state where somebody else knows something I don't know because that puts me behind the eight ball. So I'm encouraging people in this age of fictions and false news and whatever to do your due diligence. It's not about, I mean, I think words are always constantly being thrown around like woke and like, you know, CTE, critical race theory or whatever, whatever. No, it's not about woke. It's not about these words. It's about being educated and knowing what you know because shadowy figures are taking advantage of what you don't know, of what you don't know. And you can't engage in a conversation if you don't know. And it's not just about facts and figures, it's yourself. Like I'm constantly rejecting things that people are saying because I know it's not real and they're trying to change my version of my reality. And it's like I reject that. I reject that outright. So I'm just asking. Oh, thank you for the about the glasses. I just caught that. And I'm glad you find the advice helpful. But I just want to encourage everybody to just like seek out betterment, seek out improvement. We as a whole, I feel like I'm in the pot with everybody. We have got to stop swimming in ignorance. And I find myself working extra hard. First of all, shutting out the noise because you can't consume everything, but also being aware, truly aware of what's happening so I can do something about it or at least protect my family. Case in point, improving yourself. Most of you guys have, I've mentioned that I have ulcerative colitis. And so it's really important that I eat super well. It's really important that I take care of my gut, right? Improving myself, right? It's really important that I have a really great GI doctor. It's really important that I always stay up on new treatments for it because a lot of the GI doctors around are like, there's nothing you can do about it. Take the pill and take the medication and be done. And I'm like, no, I feel like we're on the precipice of finding a cure for like Crohn's and ulcerative colitis. So how can I improve myself in this area? Well, I'm constantly asking my sister who's a doctor and my other sister who's a nurse practitioner, what are some treatments that are coming up that I could potentially use or try or trials or whatever. But my point is you have to take care of yourself. You have to stay up on your health. You have to constantly reject people saying that this thing is not possible, so you don't stay in the same position for the rest of your life, thinking that this is all there's going to be. Like there's a cap on it. But my other point in saying that is that because I know that there's been an influx of pesticides on our produce and on all over our the foods we eat, we think we're eating well because we're doing all these vegetables and they're being sprayed down with like a jillion different chemicals, and that's a new thing. There wasn't so many chemicals, but as of late I know there's a lot of chemicals. So what do I do to combat that? Okay, I'm going to local farmers markets. What am I doing? So I just encourage everybody out there who's listening to please, wherever your trauma is, whatever you're dealing with, whatever you're going through emotionally, find the therapist, find the outlet. Health wise, talk to your doctor. i, I just if you feel like you don't know something, read up on it. There's I have my own feelings about AI, but I think it's important that we master AI. So master AI, understand it. You don't have to consume it all the time. It doesn't need to be your source for all things. I know people consult AI as if it's another human being, and that's scary because AI is still a robot. And I think we keep that in perspective. It's not a real human being. And if you ask a real human being, they'll give you more of the nuance of what it means to be emotionally stable and vulnerable. And more than likely, sometimes because people are feeding information into the machine, they're going to say the same thing. So connect with a human being first and improve yourself. Okay, so now moving on, I have a random Hollywood story because a lot of you know I'm a TV and film writer as well. So I have met a lot of people in the past. So my random Hollywood story today is I was working on a pilot. And so this is sort of like I've already been in LA for maybe 2 or 3 years. I was a PA. I'd met a lot of people, but this was just the first thing that came to mind. So I'm working on a pilot, and the showrunner tells me I need you to go pick up talent. I was like, okay, do they know what car I drive? I was like, do they know the car I'm in? It's like a little Kia Rio. I mean, to be fair, I bought the car brand new, so it didn't have any weird smells and it was super clean. And I didn't keep any kind of junk in it or anything like that, even though I was schlepping coffee and food all around to all these executives and producers. And they were like, it'll be fine. It was like, when you talk about picking up a celebrity, it's like, oh gosh, are they expecting like a Mercedes Benz? Or are they expecting whatever they're expecting? And here I am, my little Kia Rio, which was a nice Kia Rio, but by the way, at the time. Anyways, I go pick up this person, and it turns out it's Peter Dinklage. So I pick up Peter Dinklage. He gets in my car. He's perfectly lovely. He doesn't make me feel bad about my little car. And the whole time I'm self-conscious and embarrassed about my car. And then I was like trying not to talk because I was like, oh, he's an actor, but he was so nice. He was so nice. And I was like, and we did have small talk. He was asking me questions about, what I did. And I told him I was new to LA and, relatively new. And he thanked me when we got to set. He thanked me, and I picked him up multiple times after that. But I try, they always say don't talk too much because you get people, like, it throws people off when you talk too much because they're getting into their process even as they go to set. So I was always very quiet. I didn't really say anything, but I picked him up multiple times, and he was just a very lovely, charming man. So that is my random Hollywood story, and I have multiple stories of meeting all kinds of random Hollywood people during my time. And I still meet people. Obviously, I still work here, but I'm always still. It's not that I am enamored about people, but I guess I am. I am. I'm lying. I'm enamored about meeting different, interesting people who are doing interesting things. Like my other random Hollywood story, which I wasn't going to share, but it popped in my head, so now I feel like I have to, is that I worked on a movie, and Paul Krugman was in it. And at the time, I read the New York Times, but I didn't read the economy section. So at the time, I had no idea who Paul Krugman was. So everybody's so excited that this man has come on to do this very funny comedy. And I'm sitting beside Paul Krugman and I'm chatting with him, and I have no idea why he is like who he like. Everybody's like, oh my God, Paul Krugman's doing the movie. And for those of you who don't know, he's a brilliant economist. He's a genius. So I'm sitting there chatting with him like, "Oh, what do you do?" Like, it's so dumb. It's like, why don't I know what this man is and who he does? And why didn't I look him up sooner? Because I'm very good at looking up people, but I just did not. I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off, doing all kinds of other things. I was working for the director, and yeah, that was that. So that is my random Hollywood story. And my writing, I always want to share something about writing. So today I want to share a writing book called Creating Character Arcs by K.M. Wieland. It is a really great writing book for those of you who are writers and who you need. Oh, I have a bookmark. I keep lots of bookmarks. This is like an Incredibles bookmark. Disappear in a book. Read. That is the bookmark. It's very cool. Okay, I'm going to keep my space. Disappear into a book and read. Improving yourself. So, in terms of my segment today, all about improving yourself. So, if you're a writer, the Masterful Author's Guide to Uniting Story Structure, Plot, and Character Development. It's a really great character arc, how to build it out, and how to write the story. So, that is my segment for today. Thank you for joining me. I'll be live tomorrow. And I look forward to seeing you guys. Thank you for joining me.